a road dog. Hold her cry. I got up this morning to call her. She said, I'm so sorry I had to cut the fun short. Okay, now if you sound like a whiner and complainer, I'll make fun of you. So I'm so sorry, Pastor Keith said that I cut the fun short. Right? Okay. I laughed at her. I put a bit emoji that said, fun cutter. What am I supposed to do? You talk like that, I'm going to talk back to you. I love you. So I make fun of you. Because she makes fun of me too. Strong woman. Kind of catch each other in the spirit, except she don't always have time to do it. So I use that on Sundays, right? I use what I can get when I can get it, right? Because they don't always have time to do it. Harmony was hard for those kids. She's a principal, a director of a school. She worked hard with those kids. So she don't always have time to satiate Jamie's appetite. And when we were walking away from Pastor Keith's circle, we were walking the other way, and I could barely walk in the parking lot. I was trying to hide it, right? I yelled to Pastor Keith's circle. I said, thanks you for satiating my Bible appetite. He didn't satisfy it. He just played the game with me. He talked with me. And so we went back and forth verbally, right? I got in his face. I don't take down for nobody. He said, Jamie, there's no Bible. You asking me for a perfect Bible. I said, asking you, I'm demanding it, right? If I'm going to stand on his promises, give it. Give me the real word. I got to see inside of me. He said, Jamie, there's no perfect Bible. I said, absolutely not. I got his face. He was sitting across from me. He was sitting right across from me at the table. He was sitting right across from me. On the other side was Dan, Ashley, because they came there for a little birthday. So I'm sitting with Pastor Keith, so I got in the face. We're talking about the Bible. We're having fun. He said, I know what you're asking for, and I would love to give you more, but what happens when more just doesn't exist? What happens when there's nothing more? I've got to the cap. I'm at the cap of what they can give me, right? And nothing more exists. And there's a no more than this, right? Here's the thing. I thank God for Jess, because she did the shopping yesterday. She did shopping, so she got me some milk. Because I was at the point where, right, I had no more milk. So y'all know Jamie, right? She go ghetto with it. She from the neighborhood. She go ghetto. I got coffee creamer. So I took coffee creamer and water and put it on my cereal last week. It is disgusting, but I ate some cereal. What do I do coming out of the high when people are at that cap with me and there is nothing more than this? I turn and I make it happen. I turn coming out of the high and I make a decision. And when you realize it, people don't look at the C experience the way that I do. Just because you don't look at your C experience the way that I do, don't say that I'm not experiencing the C the way I should be or the way I'm supposed to, right? And I don't look at the inner C experience the exact same way, because even the synoptics saw it differently, right? Well, Matthew had commentary. One said this, one said that, right? Mark did not do that. And the first word he started with was what? Immediately. We talked about in the beginning, six times between chapter 1 and chapter 2, he said immediately, because what Mark is trying to do is to drag you through the gospel as fast as he can to get you through to the resurrection. That's what I believe. Because he keeps throwing it at us immediately. John seems to be the king of and. I love the Gospel of John, because even though it seems like separate stories, it seems like separate cement blocks that he's throwing at you. Bam, 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 separate cement blocks. The ands that he puts kind of ties them together. So you don't actually have a chance to breathe between the cement blocks. He's taking the cement blocks of love and throwing them at you constantly. Bam, 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 one after the other. He doesn't want you to breathe in between, because if I throw them at you completely and consistently, possibly, could you retain what I'm giving you? Immediately. I love the two different views on one side of the boat and one on the other side of the boat. If we had not called out to him, he would not have seen us. If it be you, Lord, bid me to come to you on the water. Remember, I love the two different views, because both of those, they were in the same top 3 dog right here. Those are America's Next Top Disciple. Want to be on top, right? They were on America's Next Top Disciple, right? Because they were in the top 3, right? We have got 12 disciples, but you guys are in the top 3. So they both probably thought they both had the right idea and the right vision. Both of them were wrong. They were both wrong. Immediately. That's like saying that now. It's fun. Try it. Do it with me. Well, 1, 2, 3. Immediately. Immediately. Immediately, if you hurt me, I can get over it. Immediately, if you reject me, I can move past it. Immediately, if I stop thinking about what happened, I can grow past it. Immediately, if I let you go, you can walk forward. And so can I. Immediately want to I will drop my eyes and pick up my tea. I don't have time to spend on your immediately. Peter, John, I don't have time to spend on your immediately. I want money immediately. I want to fix this thing immediately. I gotta lift up his robes and show what he's got under it immediately. I don't have time to spend time on your immediately, Judas. I don't have time to talk to you about your immediately, Simon, because you are zealot, and since you are committed to being in the same group with him, I picture us being the same type of people, because he could not have come up with this plan by himself. They probably had a zealot meeting, and they wanted to eat some zealot cake, and they would have some zealot juice, and they would have, zealot betrayed Jesus. I don't care. Immediately I drop Thomas and his doubt. I don't want to feel the inside of Jesus' hands. I want to touch the hole in his hip. I want to touch his feet. I want to wash them immediately so that I learn how to wash my pastor's feet. It's Monday, sweetie, and it was quite a message yesterday. I got the message, and I still want to immediately. That it will change my desire. I don't change based on what people say. I don't change based on what people say. I don't change based on what I say. I only change based on what he says. Immediately. I like Mark. Because immediately, things were changing immediately. They may not have been changing immediately, but the scene was changing. Can you get with it? It's almost like people walk ahead and they say, okay, this thing's going to go according to my speed. What happens when the scene changes, right? And I, Jamie, have to catch up with it. I have an opportunity, right, to decide if I am going to choose to understand it, right, and walk with it, or I'm going to leave it behind, right? So I chose to try to understand the work mentality and walk behind it, right? And I left grace behind. But immediately, Grace kept walking. Maybe that's the he that they're talking about. And he walks. No. And he walks with me. And he. Sometimes I'll try and find a key. Sometimes. And he talks with me. And he tells me I am his own. Say it with me, right? Because what is it? And the joys that we share as we tarry over there, none other. God, nothing separates me. Will ever. None other. Has ever, none other will ever. I think that's the right word. It's will, right? None other. Because will implies that none other has touched it and none other will. If I say none other will, I have a guarantee that this is a new thing. A Lamentations 3:23 thing. Nobody will touch it. None other will ever. No. I'm going to make this quick, right? Because I understand that most people don't think like I do. What God said to me just now is that if you look at the hymn book, I used to read the hymn book when I got beat, right? So if you look at the hymn book, I got a hymn book out now. I was reading it as well. I love that song. But if you look at the hymn book itself, these are people's expressions about the experience that they had. So they're giving God the glory for their story. We sing it and we make it a part of us. That's what we do logically. But I look at the hymn book and I see a place where I can step in and change it to match my story. Still give God the glory. What happens if you take Amazing Grace and I say, what? Grace is amazing. Grace is still amazing, just not for you. Why? Because you sing Amazing Grace. It's not Amazing Grace for me. I did that yesterday. I want something different. I don't like eating the same food every day. I want something different. I want to taste something different. When he prepares the table before me, I like eating the same food every day, but I don't like eating the same spiritual food every day. When he prepares the table before me, I want something different. Right? I want a different story. I want God to get some different glory. I want him to be high and lifted up. But I want to dress him and robe him in a different color. I don't want to make a multicolored robe for him to wear and then stick it on top of him, poke him with it, and then say, you wear this every day for me. He is not a television show that I will watch on TV. He's not something I can turn to a channel and then order. I want the number 5 that's Grace with a side of fries. Anyone I can't order. Rather, what I want from him right here. He knows what he's got for me, and he walks with me. And he talks with me. He still tells me that I'm his own, but I'm having trouble believing it. I believe God. I do. I believe God. But with all the sin that I've committed, are you serious? Can we be honest for a second? Because that's what a blog is about, being honest. Right? We go to church on Sunday and pastor gives us a sermon, but we don't really get to know him in the sermon because it's a sermon, right? It's his sermon, but God gives him discernment within the sermon, right? So he can take that home, and we get discernment with the sermon, so we can take that home with us, but we don't get to know each other within the sermon. I got a Monday through Saturday God, and then I see God on Sunday with the grouping of the saints, and I get what I can from the sermon. I eat what I can, but sometimes I get cheated. While I'm looking over at a friend, someone grabs something off my plate. They'll eat it. And the rage see inside of me starts to rage within me, and it shows the faith in me. So Jesus has to come and pronounce peace over my seed. Yet again, do you see God in it? Do you see me in this journey? Do you see me working in it? Do you see me? Right? I told you guys last week, I know, right? And then it may be hard to understand, but this is my, right, collection, right, and recollection of it, right? We want to say, I am carrying my cross because Paul told me to, right? Looking into Jesus, the author and finisher of my faith, right? You got to pick up your cross and carry it, right? Follow Jesus carrying the cross. But do you realize that if you pick up a cross, you also have a betrayer with it? That I got on the side of grace. With the side of grace that comes with fries, it also comes with a nice cold glass of betrayer. And wait, 2 thieves on either side of you. You have to have 2 thieves if you got a cross. Discipled? Yeah, I still want it. This is going to change that. Nothing will separate me from the love of God. Nothing will change that. I wanted that since I was 6. So give me a thief on the left and a thief on the right. Right? I already had that. I got 1 thief on the left and 1 thief on the right, and I had to dismiss that one. Just like Jesus did, dismiss that one. You got to let it speak, talk to it, right? Come on, give it a chance to speak, right? Over and over again, 3 times. It denied doing what I said. 3 times. So I rejected it as what it is. I rejected it as helping Mama House. We're still friends, I hope. Just in total line. So the side of cross, understand, I still have a thief on the left, a thief on the right, right? That's a picture of grace, right? Grace, whether or not, is on the cross, right? So I got a picture of grace, right? I got a thief on the left, a thief on the right. I got side of fries, right? And I didn't have a nice cold glass. It's hot outside. We got the condensation on the glass, right? It's dripping down the side, right? It's a nice cold glass of betrayer. I got a basket. Let's say I got a basket of fries. I got a basket of fries. These thin strips of carbs. These potatoes would be carbs, right? Carbs like bread, like carbs like bread, like carbs, bread. They should be here with me. They left me. They ran out of it. They ran out on me in my get him. Get him. Gethsemane. Do I get him, or do I get to see him? Or do I get to see him in me in the Gethsemane of this? Do I meet him or do I miss this? Right? I don't understand this. I'm already suffering on the cross. I got people laughing at me and throwing things at me, right? And jeering at me. And there's only one. 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 Out of the 12, there's only one. There's only one. There's one. Out of the 82, there's only one. There's only one. There's one. And how many did I heal, right? And help, all right? I got a Marys in the back of the crowd, but I can't really see them because they won't come up any close to the cross. Could it be because of the fact that they cannot be in the midst of this company, right? But then I got the one Mary standing in front of me who gave birth to me, who birthed me, who was my surrogate. You see, she was my surrogate, right? So he knows what it's like to be rejected from the womb. Why? Because when she was pregnant, the man that was with her rejected him because he wasn't a son. Are you out of your mind? Led them to come to him while he was teaching to try to get him to stop doing what he was doing. Right? Are you out of your mind? But you came to see me while I was teaching to try to get me to stop doing this. But now that I am on the cross, I don't see any of you in the audience. I just see her at the base of my feet. I think a lot of people were there that are not mentioned. But the funny thing is, Jesus does not mention them because they were not close enough to the cross to be mentioned. Right? I want my pastors to see me when they're doing what they're doing on the platform. I want them to see me and know that I support them in the midst of the pain. I'm not going to stop. I want them to see it and carry it with them through the week, right? When they go home, I want them to think about, well, who was there? Because before I started sitting in the front, it was empty, like 3 or 4, it's 4 or 5, I'd say 4 or 5 empty rows in the front, right in that middle section. Empty. Because nobody wanted to be the first one to support. I'll do it. I'll support. Broken foot, that's how I started. I'll support. Matter of fact, no, that's a lie. Eye surgery, that's when I started. I'll do it. What if God brings good out of everything? What if God used the healing of my eyes to drag me closer to him? God used the healing of, not the healing, but God used the healing of Samson's heart, but the removing of his eyes. They just did not get put back in, but they removed his eyes, all right? They removed his eyes, but then he began to see. It's counterintuitive. He began to see, right? There was a raging sea outside of him. He began to see once he took his eyes out. I began to see once you took my eyes out, God. When you knocked Paul off his high horse and you blinded him, he began to see once you ridded him of his sight. Help us see, God. The reason why I said it's a nice basket of carbs, a nice basket of bread, because it says here, be of good cheer, it is I, do not be afraid. Then he went up into the boat to them, the wind ceased. He didn't even have to ask it. And they were greatly amazed in themselves beyond measure and marveled. What? He can do this? What? She can say a poem? What? He could preach a sermon? What? David Lewis stands up there every weekend and does poetry. What? He can do poetry? I was so proud of him yesterday. It was amazing. What? They can sing? When I saw Pastor Tim get on the stage and do praise and worship, I think it was what Pastor Trent and David Lewis, there was a couple of them, pastors. I really said, what? They can sing? Because I only see them preaching. Pastor Tim was jumping around and had his guitar. He was killing it. He was killing it. So now Pastor David, 3 or 4 rows over, I can hear him singing from where I'm standing. I don't care how quiet he tries to be. I can hear you. And every time I'm like, what? He can sing. His tail off. Sorry, I shouldn't talk about my pastor's tail, but it makes me excited. It's beautiful. He sings and it sounds like bells. It sounds like church bells, like chiming of church bells. I don't have that gift. Ask me, I don't have any gifts. But I got to see though. Then he went up into the boat to them, and the wind ceased, and they were greatly amazed in themselves beyond measure and marveled, for they had not understood about the loaves, because their heart was hardened. Beautiful pastor, a beautiful scripture Pastor David talked on yesterday. And he did the parable of the seed and the sower, and he brought the wayside picture of it. That's what I talked about wayside this morning. The wayside picture of it, right? He brought that wayside image, right, to life for me, because he said that these people were the people that were on that wayside were hard-hearted. I thought Pharaoh, right? Ding, ding, ding. Who was hard-hearted in Exodus when he was dealing with Moses? Ding, 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 ding. Pharaoh Ramsey. Pharaoh Ramsey. Oh yeah. Oh, it's a game show with me. Ramses. That was his cousin. His cousin from his mama's family, from the boat when he was put inside the thicket when the bull rushes right here. Twice removed from Miriam. Twice removed. Because Miriam was following the boat on the long side. Twice removed. When Jochebed put him inside that ark. Twice removed. People here may not understand what I just did. We always have a connection to somebody, right? I could say Sandra is my cousin from my father's side or my uncle's side, where he had this monkey. He had picked up a coconut, they ate it, right? And then my God came down and said, okay, this is your family, this is your family. And then her family stood up and said, this is your family, right? This is your family, right? So after that, because that was her granddaddy, now God was her granddaddy, and that this was her family, right? Then she from Ecuador, right? Sandra is my cousin, twice removed, and 4 uncles over. With a picnic basket with Yogi the Bear. You understand? That's a ghetto thing. Everybody's your cousin from the uncle's side, brothers, mothers, sisters, cat, twice removed. Twice removed. Always twice. Why? It's very hard to connect somebody by twice removed relative. I found that I have a cousin in the Philippines, and she's actually Philippine, but it's like on my father's side. But however, I'm Nigerian. She's a Philippine, right? She looks actually Chinese. You cannot mistake it. But that's my cousin. Twice removed. I find it hard. We're hard pressed to find a relation, right? Once we're twice removed. I have a cousin, right? I have my cousins. My cousin Diane. Her name is Cousin Gustine. We call Cousin Gustine, right? Albert and all of them. Their grandmother, is as Caucasian as they come. She looked like Lucille Ball. That's Aunt Rosetta. She's my aunt. But my grandfather and parent, my uncle were twins, so they married. But that's still my cousin. And cousin Diane have an afro just like me, except it's down to her kneecap. Twice removed. Who's Jesus to you? Is he your cousin's mother's brother's uncle, sister's brother, right? Is he all of that to you, or is he just your love? Is he just your brother? Is he just your friend? I find that the people that are closest to me, that are closest to my heart, hurt me the most. If it wasn't you that had said it, it wouldn't hurt me as much. But because it came from you, and no matter how you see me, my heart is connected to you because it came from you. Because I look up to you. How do you think it feels for him to be walking on the sea, say, be of good cheer if I do not be afraid, because they think it's a ghost. They identify my identity with a ghost, right? They call him a ghost. But here's your identity if he's walking towards you and he's a ghost on the sea. I don't care what he looks like. I ain't pitying nobody. I don't care what he looks like. You've been with him for 2 to 3 years, right? Nobody looks at Jesus and thinks ghost, right? That does not want to think it. I would not think Casper the Friendly Ghost. Was he flying? It's an apparition, and it's because of the fact that it appeared that way to them. It appeared to be. If I have an apparition, I have applied scientific knowledge or data to what I'm seeing in front of me, to what is appearing in front of me. How about you just open your eyes and see me? See that I love you. See me. See that I want to be around you. See me. See that I will die for you. Even though you will run and hide up underneath somebody's bed, run and hide in a closet, right? When nobody ain't chasing after you, there will come a time where people will look for you to drag you to do to you what they are doing to me. But that is not this time. When I need you to stand by me, you lead me to Gethsemane. Get some of me. Get get them some of me, to find me, right, to heal the man's ear that you cut off, right, to be tied to in ropes, to be taken away with bully clubs and knives, right, drug out of the place where I'm praying to you, for you to not pray with me, for me to ask you twice, for you to not pray with me. I'm drug away, put on trial for something that I did not even do, and they're not even accusing me of anything. They're accusing me of saying a word, saying something. What if I get up, I go outside and say, I'm President Biden? Who would care? Nobody. But the King of Kings stepped up and said, I am God, and was put to death for it. But what do you care?